Today is day 57. We're reading from Numbers chapter 7. Tomorrow, we wrap up completing 2 months of reading through the Bible together. You've spent an estimated 12 hours of time reading the Bible. You're still with it, even in the trenches of the book of Numbers. And I want to encourage you. I know that we've got here now detail and order and obedience and dedications and blessings, and it all can become redundant. I have to say, this is one of the most redundant and monotonous chapters in all of the Bible. Think about it. This is the second largest chapter in the whole Bible. May God keep drawing you to read it, and may you realize that even in these small details, there's a lesson to be learned. You know what the lesson is in this? That you've got names of people we've not heard of before, nor will we hear of again, and it details everything they're giving right down to the teaspoon of incense, which demonstrates that God keeps a record. He's aware of everything that people are giving, and he doesn't forget it. Do you realize that what you give, what you contribute, what you invest, that I believe God records it, and he is aware of it, and it never fails to come before the presence of God. May that be an encouragement. And if it was that important to God to write down the what names that we don't know, even right down to the teaspoon of incense, you can be sure God's interested in your life, and he keeps a record. Now Moses sets up the tabernacle. He anoints, he consecrates it, and we've opened up one of the longest and most repetitive chapters yet. In this, God gave the Gershonites and the Merarites ox carts. Now, he did not give ox carts to the Kohathites. And so when we look at this, we have to ask why. Well, he didn't want the temptation there, first of all, because the things they were handling, they were taking down the tabernacle and putting it all together, and they were transporting. He did not want them to be tempted to place the ark and other sacred things on the cart that he intended for them to carry. And so he had separated these two camps. This allows them to transport these holy items from the tabernacle, the things that they cannot touch yet. They have to have close oversight and control. This was a fancy, efficient system with covered wagons and rather elegant, matter of fact. And it demonstrates how God is a God of order. There is this daily dedication ceremony. God establishes the offerings that will come from each tribe, regardless of their size. In God's economy, everyone benefits by contributing. Everyone works together. It is the church triumphant, combined, advancing God's kingdom. God instructs each tribe going clockwise around the outer skirts of the tabernacle, and that they are to be responsible and participating. This is a spiritual engagement at a heart level. Now, one leader representing each tribe offers the offering and the dedication. So we end up then having these 12 silver plates and 12 silver basins and 12 golden dishes, oil and flour and incense, 6 carts, and 264 animals have been dedicated. Jesus says the heart follows the treasure, and he's teaching us even here the importance of giving and sacrificing, because where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And we don't idolize the things that we freely give away. God is efficient. He uses the gift of one to bless the whole. He uses our giving as a two-way highway so that what we give comes back to us. It's more blessed to give than to receive, but in giving, it comes back to us, by which we receive blessings in return. Grain offerings and sin offerings and peace offerings, dedications, offerings, anointings, consecrations. When you read all of this, aren't you glad that we live under the new covenant and that we're under grace? Jesus came and he paid it all and made it possible in his one sacrifice for all time and for all people. You and I are blessed to be where we are. Now comes the good part. At the end of the 12-day dedication period, Moses goes into the tabernacle. He enters into the most holy place. And what? He hears the voice of God. What must that have been like? There in that tabernacle, God came down and he visits with Moses above the mercy seat between the cherubim, a holy God demonstrating that his desire is to draw near to his people, not just Moses, but to each and every one. Romans 12:1 tells us, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. This is pleasing to him, and this is the means by which we determine the perfect will of God. You and I have opportunity every single day to offer sacrifices of praise and dedicating our life and presenting ourselves with rich offerings to God. And he notes it, he writes it down. It's valuable, and it will never wane in his presence. May your heart be knit closer to God by the time you're spending in his sacred word. And remember, his word will not return void, and it will produce and bring forth a great harvest.